Hey everyone, welcome to the monthly Love Movement discussion. We're going to get going. So welcome to Roger, Carrie and Michael, Daniel and Sovereign. Let's just mute everyone who's not. I'll mute you back and you can unmute yourselves. So yes, and I'm very proud to be wearing my new t-shirt, which is courtesy of Catherine. And love, quite a sweet gift. So I thought I'd wear that today. Okay, so let's just do a little bit of an alignment before we leap into the discussion, because we were already starting to have some intense discussions before we started recording. And of course, with these calls, to us, we're not attached to numbers. It doesn't matter who shows up. We always have, even if there were just like two of us, we could still have a very intense debate. And so we're not attached to like numbers on these calls. It's about the quality of the debate and the depth of the discussion, because many people watch these recordings afterwards. So let's just do a quick alignment before we launch into everything. Just taking some deep breaths in through the nose and blowing out slowly over the bottom lip. Just to calm the nervous system, consciously dropping from mind, the busy mind, the chatter of the mind, into the heart, into the body. Feeling the support of the earth beneath your feet and the chair beneath your sitting bones. Coming out of everything that was going on this morning before today's call and everything you're due to do after our discussion today, so that we can be fully in the present moment where all of the power is, as we are co-creating and imagining and visioning and setting intentions to create the world we do want, whilst bringing conscious awareness to the shit show unfolding which we don't want. So we're in that balance. And welcome to Andy, who's just joined. It's interesting, I had a little, just to spark us off, and then we'll come to each of you. And welcome to Julie, who's just joined. I had this, I was walking Kobe this morning and had this kind of like feeling that energetically at the moment, it's a bit like a balloon being pumped up, bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And this energy, it's like that feeling like the balloon's going to pop at any minute. And that's my sense of what's happening energetically, that there is so much intensity of energy. It's like there's going to come a point where it goes pop and boom, something's going to shift because of that intense pressure. And if you're into astrology, this Pam Gregory explains it's all to do with Pluto going back into Capricorn, to the final 29th degree of Capricorn, which is essentially the shadow Capricorn, the patriarchy. Pluto is about transformation and ultimately about death. So it's almost like that everything is getting very intense for this and coming into the light. I mean, a bit like my incident a week ago with the Derbyshire police, which was completely out of the blue, but the universe could not have picked on a kind of a more I couldn't say, I was going to say worse person to pick on, because actually I think I was the perfect person for Derbyshire police to pick on, someone who actually knew their rights and had the awareness to kind of video it and to make it a teaching, an opportunity to teach about common law rights and the transgressions that have been going on with these authorities who essentially are public servants overstepping their powers, this acting beyond their lawful rights. So this is a huge subject, and I'm sure that you've got lots to add. In the invitations I was mentioning about the Starmers wanting to rush through assisted dying legislation, or they called it law, but in truth it's legislation, when in fact we are aware that there have been protocols which have been hastening old age people to their grave. And we also last week had Dr. Sam White was struck off by the General Medical Council for speaking out. And one of the things in their judgment was that they couldn't allow the medical profession to be brought into disrepute by doctors speaking out. Now, this is a very interesting and quite outrageous state of affairs, where doctors voicing concerns are being silenced and struck off for telling the truth and bringing conscious awareness to the dangers of some of these protocols. It's a very interesting time that we're going through. So I'm going to throw it open to anyone who wants to come in and comment. And welcome to Lynn. Hi, Lynn. So I jumped to
sorry
the chairing seat.
I'll just say sorry for being late. I've been sat waiting in another meeting, another different meeting to start. I must have clicked the wrong link.
Oh, right. Yeah. Otherwise, you would have been the chair today, but I'm in the hot seat. So anyway, would Lynn, do you want to give a bit of a narrative, Lynn and Julie, just on either what I've said or other things that are coming into your awareness that you feel that need to be put into the spotlight for us to discuss today? And here's Conrad just joining, and I've just noticed your hand is up, Carrie and Michael. So let's just hear from Lynn and Julie, and then we'll come to you.
Well, hello. Sorry, I've been a bit absent. We've I've been on away most of August, so I think this is what's happening isn't at all unexpected. Actually, we've got Pluto coming into has come into Capricorn for the last time. We were expecting very oppressive moves and a sort of final push for complete tyranny, and that's probably what we're seeing with the digital ID stuff. And I think generally the agreement is that Starmer has made a total balls up of the whole 2 months that he's been in power, which is not surprising at all. He's there to do that. He's there to collapse the system. So all in all, I think it's pretty predictable. We've had a phenomenal full moon, which has just gone past. Absolutely amazing. It's kept me awake a bit actually, but it's a really wonderful new moon. Everything I'm getting is that we've just got to use the energies that are coming in at the moment. There are massive energies coming in, and we've just got to make sure we stay open to receive them. It's all going to yes, it's a bit turbulent, and I think what I'm getting from the business side of things is there will be people, and there are people leaving the country and buying citizenship elsewhere because of tax, because of oppression, because of free speech issues. But mostly that's the wealthy, obviously, that they can afford to do it. And I'm very tempted myself to go and look at some other countries that are a bit warmer. But I think this country is just so important. It's got the heart of the heart chakra of the world, a lot of energy lines here. There is some reason that this is being particularly targeted, that we're being particularly diluted culturally, particularly trying to have our history eradicated and so on. It's, I think, a very important country in all this. I'm looking forward to seeing what ALBION has to say. We, for anyone who's not heard of that, ALBION, the ALBION movement, they've come up with a possible way of becoming a country in our own right. There's various ways, various justifications. We have rights under the Indigenous Peoples Act, and that's that's UN rights. I don't like the UN, but the indigenous people do have rights under that. So we only need 600 people, and I think that would be easy to get. So yeah, I think I'm really looking forward to seeing what they've got to say, and that's my focus at the minute. Very sorry to hear what's happened to you, Rachel. That's been, I didn't really see it until the other day, but my God, they're totally out of order. I don't see any justification for what was going on there at all, and I hope that you can one way or another get them to really pay the price of that as individuals and as a force, because that's really that's really gone very, very wrong. But it really does show the extent to which the police are now very disconnected from the people and very much for the mafia that are currently governing. So that's where I am at the moment.
Cool.
Look forward to hearing what everyone else has got to say, really. I'm in listening mode. I'm not sure of the direction that we're going to go in. I think when Pluto moves into Aquarius, it's all going to get quite chaotic.
Yes.
That's going to change again. We are expecting more upheaval going forward, I think. But I'm very interested to hear how everybody else is viewing this.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on that that thing about England being the heart chakra. I went to a talk many years ago, and they were pointing out that they've made, obviously Greenwich is the center of time space reality because it's the clock, it's the naught of the clock, it's the GM Greenwich Mean Time, and also it's 0 degrees of longitude. So they very deliberately made London the center of time space reality.
Oh.
Yeah. And also I've noticed that Conrad, you are in hospital, my sweet. I wonder, let's come to you shortly and see what's happening to you. I hope you're okay. Let's come to Julie next, and then we'll come round. And we've got Sovereign's got his hand up, and Julie, let's just check in with you, and we'll come round to everyone.
Yeah, and thank you very much, Rachel, for sharing your video of what happened with the police the other day. And it's absolutely appalling that you and your family and other people should have to go through that. I'm also pleased that you did your follow-on YouTube video, because you gave us a lot of really good information in that. And then the other follow-on with the person, I can't remember, about sovereignty and all that lot.
Allegedly, Dave.
Yeah, so that they were both very good and well worth everybody watching. It coincided with, I was going to a Free Thinkers event about policing and you know, how the police force was set up, and it was genuinely there for the people. It wasn't for the corporations. And then the Thursday before I went to that event last Saturday, I was stuck in a traffic jam coming back from Nottingham. I'd been to an NHS meeting, and I'll tell you a bit more about that in a minute as well. And for 2.2 miles, basically, they stuck us in a traffic jam because of an accident that had happened, which was very close to where I actually joined that little bit of the 2.2 miles. And the police didn't do what they would usually have done in the past of diverting the traffic. There was a particular set of traffic lights that really they ought to have diverted one lot of traffic going round that way so that they could just keep flowing. And then we could have kept flowing going back towards Mansfield. And what I found was, in the queue of traffic, there were various vehicles that were actually police cars, but they were unmarked. And at one point, because of where I was next to a central reservation with some grass on it, a car in front of me went over the curb and over the grass to go the diverted way, which is the sensible way. Someone behind me also went over that central grass. I didn't think my car would cope with going up the curb and over it. So I thought, oh, well, there's the bit of the lane next to me that, yes, it's got some of those lines on that you're not supposed to go over. But I thought, well, that's all available. So I could reverse back and then get back to the roundabout. So I starts reversing back, and this car that was in the queue put his blue lights on, put his window down, and told me it was illegal to go over those lines. And I just sort of, oh, I didn't realise it was even a police car. So I did actually apologise and said sorry, and I went back in the queue. And I thought, well, perhaps he, being a police person, would know that actually we're not going to be held up for long. And I'd seen a vehicle further down sort of go across the other side of the road, and it had got blue lights flashing. I don't know if it was a marked one. That might have been the only marked one. So anyway, I sat in the queue and we carried on, sort of, you know, being stuck for ages. Then we'd move a little bit, stuck for ages. Saw where the accident had been with an ambulance. Didn't look much of an accident, actually, but I don't know because I have not had any feedback. And as I'm travelling along, there's another car sort of pulled over the other side of the road. So I flashed it to let it come in. And because I thought it was just indicating to want to go back the way it had come, which was the way that I was going. Then he put his blue lights on. Then I found out there were loads, there were at least a few unmarked police cars in the traffic jam. At one time they'd have had, and it was very near the police headquarters between Mansfield and Nottingham. Why on earth they didn't just divert the traffic around, which they could have done very easily. But on the same day, I saw one of the local councillors had actually said that there was something happening on the other side of Mansfield, that another road was blocked off. What is this all about? And I think they are just trying to wind people up about the 15-minute city things and things like that. So anyway, that's another thing aside. I am doing a course in miracles again, which I've, and I know Marianne Williamson's does that, and I've now found out she's been doing it for 40 years. Well, I've only been doing it for about 10 years or so, and it's at least my 5th time of doing, and that's helping me to get through all of this chaos that's happening. When I went to the NHS meeting, I'm glad I went, but when I mentioned stuff to do with why aren't we integrating complementary therapies into the NHS, I was immediately said policy. Well, why isn't it policy? And then, oh, we follow NICE guidelines. And well, NICE guidelines aren't nice because they don't take consultations from me that I've been involved in. They actually said that if anything wasn't randomized control trials, they didn't even look at it, even when it was proper peer-reviewed papers that they should have been taking notice of. So, and my other experiences with them, they are definitely not nice and should not be doing the jobs that they're doing, because they are not helping any of the healthcare staff to work properly. So that was very much came through in that, and it was the Nottinghamshire annual general meeting open to the public that I went to. There was hardly anybody there, particularly hardly any of the public there, but I'm glad I went and I did voice. Then yesterday I was at a community voluntary services meeting that was basically voluntary organisations were there, but also the local council, our local mayor, and various other people. I was pleased to hear of different things that are happening in the communities, and there's even some that are starting to sound quite similar to the sort of stuff that we're wanting to do through the ALBION. So I didn't talk to them about that because it didn't feel right to until I've gone to that meeting that I am going to go to on 27th September. I'm really looking forward to that, and I think we're after a new nation. I think they call it nation rather than country, and so I'm feeling very inspired, and I'm glad that lots of the Love Movement people will be going to that, and I'm just going to leave it at that for someone else to come in now. Thank you.
Thanks, Julie. Let's come to Carrie and Michael then, and check in with you.
Okay. Right. Well, I think we all need to hold on to our hats, don't we, the way things are going. Regarding what I call Rachel's siege, and I've already spoken to you about it, but I noticed in the video that your son did that the chief wrecker had no epaulette on his left shoulder with his number on, which he should have done, which was a bit sus. And also, I think I mentioned that the dent in that car, and my husband is actually Jan, we call him Jan, not Michael. He was used to assess damage on cars that came over on the transporter, in the docks for damage. And what was it you said about that?
That's not a screw, that's a head on. Somebody's actually driven into it.
Yeah, because if the person that you had as a guest had done that much damage, he would have felt the impact on his vehicle most certainly, and would have stopped, and and we all know that I gave you 3 points of law that I got from this dictionary that I found, and I think possibly the one that applies is the trespass from the beginning, because they were legally in some ways allowed to go onto your property because they're uniformed, but what they did when they were there was way out of their remit, and therefore the law says that that everything they did is negated, and that was trespass from the beginning because they didn't carry out their duty as you know, making inquiries first and not relying on hearsay. So that might be something you can think about. So I'm hoping that what I've got to say is all very positive. First of all, very briefly, Loveland, I don't know whether I mentioned it, they did crowdfunding, they got 41,000. We've got polytunnels going up, we've got a roadway through, a proper car park because it gets very boggy in winter. Loads of funding for so many things, it's great. And we've had a bumper harvest despite the slugs and the lines in the sky, and giving it to neighbours, and my friends have stand in a park, and everybody has benefited from it. And also from that came an interview from a guy from Exeter University, was asking if you could interview people on their climate or environmental journey or whatever, something to do with activism. And so I put my hand up for that, and there were 23 questions, and I think he went away very bemused or confused by my answers, like probably thought I was completely crazy. But he was asking things like what I thought about the local council and what they were doing regarding net zero. So I illustrated what was actually happening. And he also asked me if I supported organisations like Greenpeace, and I said, well, not now, because I said they're into stop oil, and yet I've researched it, and they've got a massive marine diesel engine on their Rainbow Warrior 3 boat. And good news, their Stannery Parliament is up and running in Cornwall. We've got 300 standing shoulder to shoulder, and we are also in touch with the IRB Council, Supreme Council, because they have said that because we're Cornwall, we're not England, we're not Albion, but we can be a nation in our own right, but also we're joining forces with them as well. And yes, I will be going to one of their meetings at the end of the month with loads of other people. Another good thing was Team Dave, that I'm a member of. If you remember, he stood as an independent for Penzance, and there was a case of a woman who was going to have her property repossessed in Cornwall, because she'd not been allowed to work during lockdown, and she'd not been allowed to rent out her cottage, so she got into arrears with her mortgage, or loan, or whatever it was. And when the bailiffs came, there was Team Dave, and Bannerman had also come down from Derbyshire to support. And there were 20 people there, standing there peacefully, negotiating, and eventually everything was very friendly, and eventually the bailiffs went. And I think that problem is being resolved, because she's now, the woman in question is liaising with the bank about her loan. So that was a good thing, and that's what we do. If people put out a message on WhatsApp, I need help, then there's always loads of people available to go and be peaceful and talk law. And there's also 7 concerned citizens have set up something in Cornwall. This might be something that other people could do, and they recently held a big meeting and a debate on climate, and 15 local councillors attended, and apparently it was quite a good outcome. And then one last thing, sorry, I don't really mean to go on about it, take up too much time. There's a new organisation started up, and I can put their website or the link in the whatever I have to do there, you know, the chat thing. Clean Atmosphere, campaigning and raising public awareness on creating legislation and solutions to counteract the proliferation of microwave radiation and weather engineering and deliberate release of polluting emissions to our skies. So that is actually an organisation that started up, which I think would be very useful to join. And oh yes, and that my husband cancelled his TV licence this morning. He phoned them up, and when they asked why, he said he wasn't paying towards Hugh Edgeworth's pension. So I thought, and they said, well, obviously we can't comment, but so that was a good note to end on. Thank you.
Thanks, Carrie. Wow, you are so on it down there in Cornwall with all of your activities. Amazing. Well done. Really good. Very inspiring. Down in Loveland. Okay, a Sovereign. Who is Sovereign?
Hi, it's me. I just want to say I'm experimenting with not
Who's me? Who's me?
Prakash. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm experimenting with not sharing my data at the moment.
Oh.
So that's why I put myself down as Sovereign. I think I know that this goes out on YouTube as well, and so I'm not sure how I feel about that. So that's why I've just put myself down as Sovereign. One of the things on this issue of data, I'm aware from November the 8th onwards that travelling to the EU from the UK is going to mean sharing additional data with the authorities, including irises and fingerprints and various things like that. And again, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't particularly want to share my data with anybody, especially when I don't feel comfortable about it. And I'd really like to invite other people's views on how they might manage that situation, or indeed might take a view on not travelling to the EU. The second thing I wanted to say, thank you for posting that video, Rachel. I'm really sorry about that. It looked like an awful experience. I can't believe that such a thing could happen in England, and if it wasn't for the video, I don't think I would have believed it. So I thank you for posting it, but I'm really sorry that you had to have that experience. I do think that this also ties in with some of the things under the bigger picture. I almost see that we had the COVID era, and now we've got the Starmer era. And I think it's kind of this Starmer area is just as big. You know, I mean, we started off with, you know, restricting people from expressing themselves, and running the risk of arrest as a consequence. This then developed into the ending of the winter fuel payments for certain people, and now we seem to be finding that with the excess deaths that remain unresolved or are actually growing in number, they're now proposing to introduce a euthanasia bill to tie up all the loose ends associated with their initiatives. Which in a way, it's interesting that Starmer has moved at the speed that he has moved at, because it kind of, I almost wonder whether he thinks that he'll only be in power for 3 months and therefore he's got to do as much as he can in the period that he's here. I don't know, but it's very odd that I mean, for example, he's provoking this war with Russia at the moment, and I'm finding that really strange, because he's even pushing America into having a direct conflict with Russia, and I can't believe, has this guy lost his mind? Rather than seek a solution, he seems to be just seeking conflict on every front. So the final thing I just wanted to share is that tomorrow is the AGM of the Together Declaration in London, and I'm planning to attend that. And also the weekend after next is the People's Reset in Bath, which I'll be attending. And I understand that the Protocol 7 movie is to be shown in Bath next Sunday night. So I just wanted to share that. And that's it from me.
Thanks, Prakash. So thank you. Yeah, it's interesting because I was watching a video yesterday saying that Starmer's ratings are, less than 20% of the people voted for him, but apparently his ratings have dropped from like 45% to 16% or something crazy. Like, he's completely plummeted. And although they had a landslide, it was on such a precarious basis. So, he really, he's really not performing well, shall we say. But maybe the reason why they're having to do it so fast is because of Trump, and they're worried that, that everything will change. And I'm assuming Trump's got a very good chance of being elected in November. And that would be an interesting thing with the whole Pluto, because of course Pluto moves into Aquarius, starts going direct, and then it moves into Aquarius on the 19th of November, and then it will stay there for 20 years, which is like, the Aquarius is really the people, the power with the people. So a big time of change. So maybe that's why he had to get his skates on. But it is a bit like Soylent Green, if you've ever seen that movie Soylent Green, where they euthanize the people and then turn them into food to feed to the masses. That's like I think it's Charlton Heston. Anyone seen that movie? Anyway, it's worth a watch.
No, but it's very unsettling. It's very, very unsettling. And we were talking earlier about moving from, there is nowhere to go. Ultimately, there is nowhere to go.
Well, I think there's a reason we've been incarnated into the heart chakra and are in England. There's a reason why we are here, and there's a reason why they're picking on people like me. It's such a schoolboy error to kind of go for someone who knows their rights, isn't it? Unless they did it on purpose, who knows? But you couldn't pick a worse person to railroad than me, really. I was like, Andy's got his hand up. Let's come to
I
Andy.
certainly wouldn't mess with you.
Sorry?
I certainly wouldn't mess with you.
Andy, you got your hand up, and welcome to Chris G, who's just joined as well. Hey, Andy, how you doing?
Hey, Rachel. Hi, everyone. Many blessings. Love to everyone. So we're in the golden age. There's like there are golden threads, and then there are golden cords, and then there are golden ropes. And what's happening rapidly now is a shift from separation to togetherness. So it's less drugs, more hugs, less tweeting, more meeting, less depression and oppression, and more self-expression. So we're in the new Vegas. I don't know. The vagus nerve is very, very interesting. It's ancient, and the dorsal vagus. Dorsal means back, so the dorsal vagus is found in the back, and then the ventral vagus is found in the front body. So the dorsal vagus is where fight flight is found in the brainstem. But it's also really importantly sympathetic nervous system. It's where rest and digest happens. So lots of people give the sympathetic nervous system a bad name, but it's actually systemically very important because it's where rest and rest and digest happens, and then the ventral vagus is where it's the neocortex, so it's the most evolved part, front brain here, and it's where attend and befriend takes place. So to attain mastery of the nervous system is to integrate the ventral vagus with the dorsal vagus to both rest and digest and attend and befriend. And attend and befriend can be thought of as one hand is mindfulness, the other hand is compassion, and then both those hands come over the heart to ask a very simple question, which is, what do I need? So we're in a new story of care, the old story. So we're in the 7th magpie, so 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for a gold, 4 for a boy, 5 for silver, 6 for gold, add 7 for the story that's not yet been told. So I had a visitation of 6 magpies, so I'm looking out for the 7, because apparently, I don't know how these things get worked out, but a mate of mine said that seeing 6 magpies together, there's a 1 in 14 million chance. So that was a really good omen, really auspicious. So yeah, it's a time to know our garden, know our water, jump into the flow, let go of the shore. There'll be many who cling on to the shore, and the time of the lone wolf is over. We must banish the word struggle from our vocabulary. Yeah, last bit. So less drama, more karma.
Oh, love it so much, Andy. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is the thing. It's transcending judgment, because, you know, during that incident, I mean, whilst it was horrific, there was a bit in my brain, it's like, this is priceless content, you know, it's like, and it was so funny that my son was kind of saying, are you sure you want to do this, mate? Are you sure? Like, this is going to go viral. And he was telling him, because he could see, he knew what was, and it's just like these young men are very switched on. You know, they're not absorbing tabloid newspapers and the BBC. They're following Joe Rogan and dudes, and they're learning, and Alex Jones, and they're seeing beyond the system, and they're not consuming the kind of, they're not brainwashed.
No.
And there's a whole wave of evolved, particularly the evolved masculine coming through, which are, you know, questioning and have a completely different set of values. Yeah. It's very interesting times, very fascinating time to be incarnated right now. So, and interesting that we've got Ms. 2 magpies here in our midst, because we've discovered that Julie's Thich Nhat Hanh name is Joy. 2 for joy, isn't it? 2 magpies, 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy.
Yeah, so choose joy. Yeah, the slogan is, I'm not quite sure what the slogan in the golden age is. I think it might be feel the magic, or be the magic, or own the magic, but something the magic in the golden age.
This was the interesting thing when I had the interview with allegedly Dave, where he was talking about the 4th dimension and about how this world is a playground, and it's like the bullies have taken over the playground, but it's time for us to reclaim the playground. And the way that we do that is through visioning, imagination, and focusing all of our energy on what we do want, whilst standing strong against the bullies, and like, no, we're not going to be bullied anymore. We know our rights, and they're not rights bestowed by government. They're rights bestowed by God, which are written on our heart. And it was such an interesting interview. Started off in law and ended up in metaphysics.
Amazing, yeah. So it's time to transcend, friends, isn't it? Transcend means go beyond.
Yes.
So we become what we dwell on. So heartily recommend 2 times 20 minutes a day. Sorry. Can you help me? What do you mean? Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realise. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'll step out. All right. Thank you very much for your kindness. I've just come up onto a balcony, and I've just been very gently prompted because there's like a chain thing to stop people coming up, but I really fancy sitting up here, so I broke the rules, took some unauthorized action.
The rules and the regulations.
Yes, indeed. So yeah, transit. I was just going to say, yeah, the instruction is, or the hearty recommendation is, 2 times 20 minutes a day of transcendental meditation.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's an ancient practice. You don't have to believe in it. It's not a religion. It's not a philosophy. There's no effort required. 5-year-olds can learn it as well as 95-year-olds. So I really heartily recommend getting your TM transmission.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. Thanks everyone.
Andy.
I've got to go soon, so forgive me. I won't be able to listen to all of the call, but
no worries.
yeah, really appreciating the love and the movement. Thank you.
Cool. So let's just remind everyone, that is what we are about: liberation, opportunity, vitality, and empowerment. This word love, love being the highest vibration in the universe, but on a 3D level, embodying those values and those principles, liberating ourselves from the system, creating opportunity, living in vitality and full health, and empowering ourselves and the people around us. We can co-create a different way of being on the planet, which isn't the totalitarian shit show. Conrad, I'm just wanted just to check in with you. Are you okay, Conrad?
Thank you for asking, and hello everybody. And again, Rachel, I'm so sorry about your situation, but you're handling it beautifully, as you do with everything. Yes, I am in hospital. I've been diagnosed with Lyme's disease. I'm just going to hand my plate to this lovely lady here. Thank you. Everything that's going with it. I do want to actually put in a plug for the NHS people. I mean, the actual people on the ground.
Yeah.
They're not the NHS. They are awesome. The crew here have looked after me beyond well, and I think they're wonderful. In my own personal journey, I'm now reading this book here.
Yeah.
By Stephen Bonner. He's written 21 books, and it's looking at Lyme beyond the usual protocol of the medical situation. Basically, they're filling me full of antibiotics, which I'm handling fine. But of course, when I mention something like parasites, the doctors seem to glaze over, which is quite amusing. I'd also like to say that on the Sunday last, isn't it terrible when names go out of your head? It's coming. The guy who does the Constitution, you'll know him.
William Keats.
Thank you, William Keats, absolutely. He spoke for 6 hours in Totnes at the 7 Stars. We had a good group, and I'm hearing from everyone that what his message was regarding not just the Constitution, but our steadiness in knowing who and what we are as a creature was well taken by everybody. And I think somebody mentioned something about feeling that we are being very stressed, but part of what we need to do is to keep breathing deeply and meditating so that it doesn't get to us and we stand strong in our sovereignty.
Yeah. Yes.
So, yeah. So I hope everything goes well with you, Rachel. I hope your door's repaired. If I was up there, I'd bring my tools with me and fix it for you, but there you go.
Thanks, Conrad. Yeah, sorry to hear that you're in hospital, and if anyone knows any, well, obviously you've got the book there, but if anyone's got any protocols for Lyme's disease, then that would be very helpful to Conrad to recover. So wishing you a speedy recovery. I'm going to come to Chris G next, and then we'll come back to Carrie.
I'm not sure how to post this, but there's a video here of a man that cured his cancer through fenbendazole, and that's a parasite zapper. I don't know how to get it to you, really. It's a video saying that man cured himself of lots of kinds of cancer, but I have a friend using it as well, and so it's a really good drug, along with ivermectin. Seems to be getting rid of things. I wasn't going to come on here, sorry.
Oh, no, it's all information welcome. Are you on Telegram, Christy?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, maybe if you put it into the love stream.
So I'm on Telegram, but I don't think I'm on your Telegram. So,
or into like the love hearts, and then we can share it.
How on Telegram? What's yours called for me to look you up?
You could send it to me, Rachel Speaks Out, or to the love hearts, any of, or
Sorry, I mean, when I'm on Telegram, how do I tap you in?
So, well, I personally am Rachel Speaks Out on Telegram.
Okay, I'll look for that then. Thank you.
And if you send it to me, I'll
right.
Just thinking how.
Thank you.
Not sure if you could send, because mine's a channel. But Rachel Llwynmawr Love, I am. You send it to me and I'll forward it on. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for that. Look forward to seeing that. I'll look out for it, and then I'll share it with Conrad and everyone else.
Thank you.
Harry, let's come back to you.
Okay, just very briefly. I've just recently read The Falsification of History. There.
Right.
Is that, yeah. And there's also The Falsification of Science. If you don't want to buy the book, you can download it on Kindle. And it's absolutely mind-blowing. And everything that we've been taught from, all our school days is completely, it's just not true. And it's, you get to the stage where you've been down so many rabbit holes, you think, yeah, know that, but you don't know this. A lot of people don't. And the detail it goes into as well is excellent. So, from an information point of view, I think it's they're both very good books to read. I was also just going to say very briefly that, on a spiritual level, because that's where I'm at, I think, Rachel, you're definitely a warrior queen, and you probably were one in a previous life as well. And we all look to you for inspiration, and everything that you've done and been through is just awesome, really. And I know you'll win through, so that's absolutely great. Yeah, and my husband, I mean, he's been taking anti-parasitic stuff, diatomaceous earth, and we're now on zeolite to get rid of heavy metals, and he's come off his cancer medication, and his blood results are really good, and he's feeling absolutely wonderful. So we're just hoping that everything is good, because we're doing all these natural cures that we've learned about. So we'll see how we go. Anyway, thank you for listening. Thanks,
Carrie. It's funny, actually, many years ago, my PR man, when I was back in the Red Letter Days era, he bought me the book Boudica. It's like you're a warrior. Maybe I was Boadicea in a previous life. Lynn, hi, let's come to you. And Roger, you've been very silent. I'm sure, Roger, you want to come on.
But he's perhaps waiting for Albion to come. So we'll catch up there, Roger, hey? You're on mute, Roger. But no, he's still on mute. Anyway, I'll speak while Roger comes off mute. So yeah, I've following on from Carrie.
I'm just saying I'm listening to everybody and learning something rather than talking all the time. Anyway, I just want to remind everybody that I shall be going to the ALBION co-op on the 27th, which is at Knottingley. And I've put the details, by the way, which came through to me from Albion by email. I've put them on Telegram. So if anybody wants to get the location, we know what it is now. It's Ferrybridge Community Centre, the Square, Knottingley. Anyway, it's on Telegram. You'll find
Yeah.
it there.
And that's the evening of Friday, the 27th of September. They've also
Yes.
got one the next day. I forget where that is. It Wales or Birmingham?
Wales, but I think they might have had to alter that. But anyway, on the email that I got, which I've posted on, on Telegram, it talks about the Wales one.
Yeah.
And they're adding another one rather than to split the day and go to one and then the next.
What I'll do is I'll look up the details and I'll put it in the comments below. So anyone who wants to go to the Albion co-op meetings, very fascinating. I'll put it in the comments below.
Yeah,
Okay.
they want to know numbers. I think they're quite. If you email them, they put you on the email list and you get the invite through.
Yeah, I'm on the
chatty
email
if
list.
you email them, so they're fine to have a chat with you on email. I've emailed them
Anyway,
myself, if they're congruent,
Anyway, Rachel, you're coming to pick me up to go there together.
Yes, true. I am going to be your chauffeur for the evening, Rog.
Well, that'll be nice. Thank you. It'll be lovely to see you.
I've got a Pete cap you can borrow.
It'll be lovely to see you.
I'll be
I wonder what time.
Lady Penelope, Rog.
But I don't know what time you're going to be here. You haven't told me yet.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah, perhaps best to WhatsApp en route because traffic.
Yeah, I'm free all day, so I'll come up nice and don't worry, we won't be rushed.
Okay, well, I can organise some food for you.
Yeah, we can make an evening of it. That would be nice. And, and I think Julie said she's coming, doesn't? And Lynn, you're coming, are you?
Yes,
so that'll be fun.
Coming.
Have a little love gathering.
Nice to meet up.
So it'll be great to see you all.
Cool.
And
do you want to share something?
Well, the only thing of interest, I look at the YouTube channels every day, and I see today Funky Prepper, his name is Darren, is talking about they're opening cash hubs. I don't know exactly what they entail, but if you look on YouTube today at Funky Prepper, you'll learn a bit more about it, and I can't say much myself because I don't know much, but that's interesting. It seems like somebody's working in the background on our behalf.
Yeah, lots are.
Pardon?
There are, there's a lot more going on than we get to know. I mean, the problem is, I think, for our movement generally, is that we are not allowed to. We all have tiny little audiences, tiny little groups, and they are not allowed to connect up. It's quite hard work joining all the dots together, and that's quite deliberate. Obviously, we can't just put something out on the BBC and say, come and join us at this, because then obviously you get a huge response, and everyone would know what was going on, and you'd have a central, easy to manage hub. But actually what happens is, as soon as it gets any traction, it's sabotaged, or you or they take down your website, or there's a very deliberate attempt to keep all the little things separate and not gain too much power. So yeah, there's a lot going on, and it's and the dots are joining up. We're all getting to know a lot more now. So I'll just carry on. I'll just say, Carrie, I too have been prompted to look at history again this week. There's basically this, whatever has been going on a long time, and my daughter gave me a book to read called Queens of Jerusalem, women who dared to reign. And it talks, because we never hear about the women, but actually there were queens who were queens in their own right in Jerusalem, as well as queens consorts. And what struck me actually was, more than, I'm not really that feminist, I expect women to be able to get on and rule if they're in that position, but what struck me was we've got the same bloody family right back then in medieval times, and probably even before that, Babylonian time, the same flipping lot, fighting about which one of them is going to be in control, and everybody else being, you know, the cannon fodder, the people who grow the food, and being under them. And it's just, you just think, oh, for goodness sake, it is pretty much the same people all the time. That same we've got now. Someone else came up with the Jesuit connection again. So the history that we're being taught is very different to the history that's actually happened. What we're basically taught is a bit of gossip from various eras, and not the real thing, not about the real stuff, the Essenes and how they, you know, the energy that knowledge that they knew and that was then destroyed in the fire of Alexandria, and the knowledge that was then destroyed later by taking it out of the Bible. So yes, all this history it's really actually fascinating. And the other thing that I was reminded of was reading Rory Duff, is the energy line. The energy lines are A, increasing in number, and B, growing because of the energies that are coming in from the earth, from space by the sun and all the rest of it. But what struck me again was his comments about how we affect the lines. So how these lines are different in width and in behavior, depending what mood you are in when you dowse, you know, or how many people are meditating on them, or that sort of thing. So the energy of the earth itself, the energy grid of the earth itself, is affected by us, as is, and we must remember this, that everything we do affects the universal field, the field of the earth, the field of space. It's not just, oh, the planet's doing this to us. We have an effect all around, all our thoughts, every emotion. It's so important that we do the stuff ourselves. And I even snapped at Dad a little bit because he's been very grumpy, and he's got every right to be, but in some ways, but it doesn't help those who are trying to help him. So yes, I sort of snapped at him a little bit about this sort of thing, about how you know, we are all one energy, and we have to uplift ourselves to enhance the energy of others. And when we don't look after ourselves, this was the bit I was snapping at him about. Yes, well, maybe, you know, when we don't take care of ourselves, other people have to pick up the bits, and other people have to have their lives affected, and their time and their energies directed away from themselves and their families to look after people who haven't really bothered to look after themselves very much, because Dad's let himself go a bit. And we're sort of shoving him around in a wheelchair now, and he's needing help getting dressed and all that sort of thing. So, and he was one of these people in these who knew a lot of the holistic medicine. He was way ahead of his time in that way, but he dropped the ball basically. And so, but I was just, you know, mentioning that actually how he was and how he looked after himself and how much he cooperated and helped himself did affect everybody else around him. And we just have to remember that we have to take care of ourselves to be able to uplift other people, to be able to pick up the pieces when other people drop the ball. And if we don't, we not only can't do that, it means other people have to look after us. It also means that we're affecting the universal energy field. So that's just a quick reminder.
Thanks, Lynn. I'm sorry to hear about your dad.
Oh no, he's a pain in the butt. It's been for years. But he, you know, there is a little bit of you reap what you sow. I'm not saying that he deserves it. I'm not saying that at all. But he put his, it's this thing, isn't it? Put not my faith in princes. And at a crucial point, he went with what the doctor said. You know, my sister was pulling him in that direction, and I was pulling him in the other, and she's usually wins on those. So yeah, he went against his own everything that he knew to be right, and went down this sort of medicalized route, and he's never recovered really. So so it's just it's all right. Those people are there to teach us compassion when they get into that state. It's just a reminder that he can help himself. He can help himself a lot more than he can and than he does. And when he does, it makes life a lot better for everybody. That's what I'm trying to say to him.
Thanks, Lynn. Thanks for sharing. And I don't know, it is 2 minutes past 1. Michael and Carrie, you, or is it Pat? You're wanting to collaborate with your whiteboard. I think it's been, I don't know if that's, if you wanted to do that or you're making a mistake with your Zoom, but is there anything you wanted to share with us, or should we close the call?
I was just writing down the contact details of this geoengineering, organisation I spoke of. If anybody's interested in getting in touch or maybe joining, because I'm going to join, it's the clean air atmosphere campaigning, raising public awareness and so on, and talking about creating legislation. So that might be quite interesting to follow that. So that's all I was doing. So did I do the right thing? I don't know. Did I put it in the right place?
Well, I'm not quite sure. I think Zoom, I'm not sure what that Zoom collaboration notes thing is, but maybe if you send it to me on in Telegram, or send it in Telegram, then I can put it in the notes to the video, so anyone watching can follow, can click on the link.
Okay, I'll have to work out how to do that. Yes. Okay, fine.
Cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
most people use chat. The little chat button. That's it.
Oh yeah, I was looking for that. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, done it all
It's
wrong
fine.
then.
It's fine. Also, can we get? Chris was saying she wasn't on Telegram. If
There you go.
we just need a contact and we can add you, Chris. If
You put it in there now.
if you want to be in the Telegram group, or you can
I'll
perhaps
do on
find
Telegram.
us and join
Oh, no, no,
yourself.
I'll put the link in the notes below as well. So anyone who wants to join us on Telegram can come.
Yeah.
I've
Good
just
idea.
I've just spoken with Rachel on Telegram. Well, not you personally. I've sent about 3 or 4 things.
Righto, I'll look out for those after the call then.
When you had a fake person doing your place once, somebody pretended to be you on Telegram.
I do have that a lot. Yeah,
that was ages ago, wasn't it? So yeah.
Okay, well, I'll look out for that. Thank you. Okay, let's call it to a close there then, and I'll try and put as much of this that we've discussed in the notes below if anyone wants to check it out. So lots of love. Thanks for coming on, and we will see you next Thursday, on the 3rd Thursday of next month at 12 noon. And these calls are free. If you want to come on, you can just be part of the Love Movement. And again, I'll put that link below. It's completely free. And come on board and join the discussions. Lots of love. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Lots of love. Okay. Bye for now.
Bye, Rachel.
Bye.